Ahoy and welcome back once again to I Like Watches. I've taken your advice. A couple of you messaged me and said don't attach your microphone to the table because then when you bang on the table we can hear it. It reverberates through the sound. You know, it comes through the video. You're absolutely right. I've now moved it off the table, so hopefully when I bang, yeah, you don't hear it. And also, the clock has stopped. I've done that intentionally because, well, I always wondered why other reviewers had clocks in the background that never actually worked. And now I've realised it's because when you film videos like this and you're sort of chatting away and then you've got to chop a little bit here and move it from the end into the middle, the clock is going to be jumping up and down all over the place. Not up and down, but it's going to be jumping all over the place, the hands, aren't they? So, yeah, having it like this means I can edit to my heart's content and you guys will be none the wiser. It's a stop-to-go. It's a real shame, isn't it? 'Cause it's quite a cool feature. For those of you not familiar with stop-to-go clocks, they were invented for the Swiss railway system, and basically every clock at every station waits for a signal to start the next minute, which is why the second hand pauses at 12 o'clock. And then when it gets that signal, it starts again. Obviously, this is a fake sort of pause, but it's replicating that effect. And what am I doing today? I want to talk about Seiko, actually, because, well, I ordered the new SNXS. I pre-ordered it, actually, and it should have been here a week ago. But Seiko have been a little bit slow, I believe, to send these watches to the ADs, to the sellers. I bought it from Francis & Gay and paid £340 for this new SNXS. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. There wasn't a lot of fuss, to be honest, but you know, it's replacing a really well-known, well-documented, well-reviewed. I mean, there's so many reviews on the original SNXS being a Rolex killer and all this sort of stuff. You know, I mean, incredibly versatile watch. Available still for, well, $100 on Joma Shop. Of course, you're going to need to pay import taxes, or £150 I paid for it in the UK. But yeah, the new one, the updated new version, is £340. So I want to see why that watch is so more expensive. I think we already know it's just because it's a new release. But yeah, I'm sure that, well, the movement is better. I'm sure the build quality is better. But I can't produce that video because, well, they still haven't sent me that watch. They don't have it, Francis & Gay, to send to me. So I'm going to talk about a different Seiko today. An incredible Seiko. Probably the best Seiko. Oh, that's a big claim, actually. Not the best Seiko ever. Just the best Seiko that I've owned and experienced. I bought this watch about 18 months ago, and it's probably the Seiko I've picked up the most from my watch box when I've been going out to the pub or whatever, and I've wanted to wear something nice and comfortable. This has probably been my most worn watch. Away from watches... Something's crawling up my leg, I think. Away from watches that I'm reviewing, yeah, this is the one that I tend to pick up. It's just uber comfortable. I mean, there's lots of reasons, and I'm going to explain those reasons in this video. If ever you get the opportunity to buy an SJE073, I highly recommend it. See, I've just been in, had a cup of tea. Yeah, I mean, I've just had a nap for an hour. I've come back. You wouldn't know, would you? That's a lie. I haven't been anywhere. About 30 seconds has passed. Why is the SJE073 so bloody good? And it is really good. I've written sort of 5 main reasons why I think this is just an incredible watch. The movement was the main reason I bought this watch. I went through a phase of just being obsessed with Seiko movements and wanting to find watches with slightly rare and unusual or new movements inside them. And this has the 6L35. They've made actually an updated version, the 6L37, which I believe is just more resilient to knocks and things like that. So that I think has found its way into some Pro Specs watches. This movement, the 6L35, is predominantly in Presage watches, but you'll find it in King Seiko watches, upwards of £3,000. So the movement inside this watch, well, Seiko clearly rates the movement inside this watch, and I do as well. It's an incredible movement, 28,800 beats per hour, hacks hand winds, good accuracy, super slim as well, which is why they use it in Presage watches. The dial on this thing, well, this watch is sort of referred to as the baby snowflake. I think there's a few watches out there that are sort of referred to or have nicknames with snowflake in them. Obviously, the OG snowflake is the Grand Seiko titanium snowflake watch. I think the dial on this watch is better than the titanium Grand Seiko. I went to see that Grand Seiko when I bought my SJE073 spring drive Grand Seiko. I wasn't impressed with it. Back then I was less impressed with titanium. I appreciate titanium watches a lot more now. In fact, I'll be showing you a titanium Christopher Ward on the channel very, very soon. Not the 12X, a different one. But yeah, that Grand Seiko snowflake dial was nice, but I don't know, it just didn't do a lot for me. This one, however, is more silvery, and the pattern just looks more like snowflakes, I think, instead of just a sort of textured dial. I mean, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, this dial. And yeah, I mean, I think the crystal has their super clear coating on it as well, which means it just looks like there's no crystal there, and you could almost touch the dial. It's gorgeous, really is, really, really nice. The finishing, this watch, well, it seems expensive. I can't remember the retail price. I think it was about £2,000. But hand finished case, Zaratsu polished case, and the finishing is really, really nice. Nice mix of brushed and polished finishing. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I love the case shape. It's quite, or it seems quite a broad watch. It seems like it's got a huge dial, but I think that's more so because the watch is so slim. And again, that's down to the movements. The movement is incredibly slim. Yeah, I think it's 1.3 millimeters slimmer than the 6R15. So yeah, it's just a gorgeous case, gorgeous. Wearability, and because it's quite slim and, well, there's just curvature on Seiko, they just have this knack of making watches very, very comfortable on the wrist. But this one, more so, I think, than any other Seiko or most other Seikos that I've worn. And it's actually the reason why I tend to pick this one up if I want to wear something a little bit special. I don't tend to always pick up the spring drive because that's quite deep still. This is so shallow, I think I'm less prone to knocking it, and it is seemingly in perfect condition. I don't think I've put a scratch on it, whereas my spring drive, I did send that off to Japan a little while ago to get refinished, and I have already put a couple of little knocks and scratches on that because it's got such presence on the wrist and it sits quite a way off my wrist. This one is just so flat and it just hugs the wrist so well. So yeah, I mean, I love the way this thing wears. And the bracelets, I am a fan of stainless steel bracelets. I'm a fan of all stainless steel watches. And this bracelet has that mix of, well, it's sort of 5 links, 3 brushed, 2 polished, and beautifully done. They're separate links as well. The clasp is quite discreet. You get half links as well. And I mean, it's just an uber comfortable watch. And I've been able to get the perfect fit. So I know if I'm going out, you know, I don't want to be distracted by the watch that I'm wearing. If I put this one on my wrist, I just know it's going to fit perfectly. So that's the sort of 5 main reasons why I think this watch is just incredible. And it really, really is. But there's other reasons as well. The hands are gorgeous. The second hand is blued. That's not chemically treated or painted in any way. That is a blued second hand, and the hour and the minute hand dual facet, very reflective, and they just work perfectly with the applied indexes, which are gorgeous, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. So much light play on this watch. The one thing that I would question is perhaps the minute track around the outside. It's quite busy. I don't know if it suits the watch, but I think that would be my only complaint. I also love the fact that it's a limited edition watch, 1881 watches, which is when the original sort of Seiko company was founded, 1881. So this is number 16 of 1881, a very special number as well, number 16, I think. So, yeah, this is unlikely to be a watch I'll ever look to get rid of. But yeah, it's just too nice. And I've spoken about the movement already, but one thing I didn't mention is the crown action. I love to interact with the watches that I'm wearing, or just generally in the house. You know, I've always got a watch box out and I'm always picking watches up, winding them up, setting them, just fiddling with them. I am just a terrible fiddler. And I pay a lot of attention to how a crown or a movement feels when I'm rotating. It's just changed the date. I haven't adjusted it. It has literally changed the date at 3 minutes to 12, which is okay. It's got a quick date change as well, so it's instantaneous. It doesn't change over a period of hours. That's funny. I felt that click in my hand. So yeah, the crown just feels lovely. I mean, it's got a display case back. The movement isn't really that special. It's nice actually for a Seiko movement, but all of these things just come together to make this watch, I think, very, very special. So as much as I'm disappointed to not have the new SNXS in my hand and be producing that sort of comparison video between the original SNXS and the new one, yeah, it's been a joy to be working on this watch for the day and just sort of take nice photos of it and I guess experience it all over again. Right, guys, let me know what you think. What other sort of baby snowflake watches are out there that you like? And is there anything that you've seen that can compete with this one? I'm not sure there is, you know.